And I still have a lot of accounts, Google-related accounts in the state of Florida, where I'm still active and participating, or a participating citizen. And anyway, all that stuff was just hacked by an Albanian group, perhaps. I don't have a whole lot of evidence. It's only research and speculation. And the evidence that I have, I'm actually sharing with this message. So I also put this on my post in writing, so you may see this in another context. But I took a quick nap, and that was today. I just woke up from the nap. I took a really quick nap, and I was in a building. I'm not sure if I astral traveled or what the scenario was. It was in the dream realm for sure. And it's crazy because I did a prayer all day today that basically gave me protection. So I know this is part of my psychic gift, and not necessarily a psychic attack. But so I'm in this familiar building, and I'm in this familiar hallway. And the hallway historically has been a very uncomfortable space to me because, historically just random things happened or were realized while I was in this hallway. And so obviously it's state of consciousness. I was walking into another realm, metaphorically and spiritually. And so, or at least in dream world. And so walking down the hallway, and then all of a sudden I'm in a space where there's two men or two people. At first they seemed to be two men, and then one of them changed into being one of my daughters. And that could be all, my thinking, mental, it could be fear, it could be, it could be whatever. Anyway, I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't mean that it was her. Somebody could be perpetrating to appear as her to convince me that it's her. But I do know that she's throwing a tremendous amount of spiritual warfare at me at her shot of fame. So there's a high probability it really could have been her. But these two people, and I don't know what that means, her switching, from a masculine to a feminine energy in that space, like within a moment. Anyway, what that means specifically. And I'm not fully awake, so I'm still just going off of the memory of the dream. Anyway, they were putting a device that touched the back of my head and kind of tapped onto the frontal lobe brain area in the front part of my head. And they were urgent. They were talking amongst themselves in a weird language that I didn't understand. And they were saying to each other, basically, hurry up, let's go, hurry up, type, is what I perceived. And I said to myself, what the fuck? And I jumped up and I said, hell the fuck no. And I said, now you burn in hell, but with holy fire. I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. And I covered myself with the blood of Jesus, and I set the room on fire. And I walked out of the burning room of holy fire. And these two people, whoever they were in the room burning. And I was like walking through the hall, or I was running. I might have been running, kind of galloping, trotting through the hall and trying to get away from there. And I was like, I can't fucking believe they did that. And I woke up. And I literally woke up with real pressure, genuine pressure on my head in those areas. And so I grabbed my phone and I looked at my phone by instinct. Excuse me. I think I initially wanted to see what time it was because I recognized that it was still light outside. And I didn't feel like I spent the whole night there. And I was really hot. And so I wanted to look at the time. And I don't think that I ever was able to notice the time because I'm just now looking at it now and being surprised. It's 8:21 p.m. and I'm being surprised. So maybe I didn't look at the time yet. But I saw a front screen notification from Google saying that my passwords had been compromised in a particular Google account. So out of about 600 passwords, 40 of them have been compromised. And some of them are actually government programs, government accounts that, I used to be associated with, that I still have those. I'm still active with, actually. Like, there's a couple other things. I mean, I used to do some high profile contracting with the government in Florida, and also government benefits was compromised. So it's some pretty significant government pages or accounts that I have that were compromised. So I was like, wow. So I trusted I didn't exactly trust. I just immediately began resetting passwords. And I was doing it through the Google settings thing where it was telling me that my passwords had been compromised. And using the clickable links kept leading me to blank pages as if these pages have been completely taken over. And they're no longer basically available to the public. And so, excuse me, don't quote me because I did not try all of those pages. Excuse me, I have a hiccup now. Don't quote me because I didn't try all of those pages. Ooh, excuse me, I only tried a couple of them, and then I finally got one to work, which was Easy Voucher, and that page that did come up. And as you can see, I'm gonna also provide that right here in the screenshot. That it came up in a language I didn't recognize or understand, and so I ran it through Grok. I took a screenshot of that and I ran it through Grok. And I ran it through 2 times. I ran it through once. I deleted that chat. And then I ran it through again with the same question. And I got the exact same answer. This is Albanian. And so I was like, wow. And then I thought about the 2 men talking. And then even though, and then the one man that changed over to my daughter, when he became my daughter, she didn't speak anymore. She just was frantic trying to get info from my brain through this device. And as the masculine Albanian man, or possibly an Albanian man, when I realized through Grok that this was an Albanian language website, that the prompts and things were written in Albanian, it made absolute perfect sense for the way that these people were speaking. They were speaking a language that I didn't quite understand. And so I used AI to listen to a clip of Albanian speaking, and that's basically very, 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 very auspiciously similar to what I heard in the dream.
Jam vite 7 vjeç, banoj dhe në Greqi dhe në Shqipëri, por vite fundit më shumë po jetoj në Greqi. Kam përgatitur një familje të madhe, përdojmë nga 7 vjeçar.
So obviously I don't understand Albanian, I don't speak Albanian, but the dialect is what I heard. And not the dialect, but is dialect the correct word? Anyway, that's what I heard. And I just thought, my God. First, I woke up and I was like, oh Lord. I said, how could they possibly achieve this? And my first response was, this is spiritual warfare against me. And I said, wow, how could they possibly achieve this? I prayed a prayer against things like this. I repeated the prayer probably about 12 times today, and I was just like, and I was only asleep for like an hour to 2 hours. Like, how? And it's still broad daylight. And then I realized I was prophetically seeing the transaction as it was happening. As I was being hacked, I was aware of it. I was fully aware of it in another dimension. So I'm bringing that energy and that information forward to say that I'm probably not the only one who was hacked, that this could be a Google thing, or it could be a Florida government thing. So like I said, out of about 600 passwords, 40 of my really important Florida stuff was hacked, including my Spotify account, and typical stuff like that you may have. So anyway, if you do have a Google account, you also would have gotten a notification, just as I did, just as I'm showing up here, that your account had been hacked or your passwords perhaps compromised. Please do take that serious. This is part of spiritual warfare. For the fact that I was able to see all of that happening in a dream tells me that this is spiritual warfare. And like I said, I wasn't gone to bed then. I just laid down for a minute to relax and actually laid down to watch a movie, and I fell fast asleep. I never even put a movie on. So, also, the universe had been trying to communicate this. When I first came home, and I just came home not too long ago, when I first came home, there was a notice from Spectrum on my door, and and for those of you that don't know, Spectrum is the internet provider here in this area. They also provide cable and cellular service, and I believe they're trying to move into fiber optics. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's our provider, and I used to have Comcast in Florida, and so there was a notice from them on my door saying that they're trying to get in touch with me, that they need to get in contact with me. And the guy's name is, his first name and his second name are relative to some spiritual triangulation that's actually happening here. So I read it twice, once to see what it said and twice to feel the vibration behind it. And not twice, but the second time to get all the vibrations behind it. And I realized the universe was speaking through this incident. And then I completely rejected the idea of returning that call, because I said to myself, they're trying to get into my system. They're trying to hack me. They're trying to get into my system. And so I said, absolutely not. I will not welcome them into my home, into my space, to check or connect to my systems or my devices in any way, shape, or form. I'm not doing it. So, his first name is significant in the spiritual warfare 3 times, and his second name is a nickname that someone new just gave me. So I knew this is it's all bullshit. It's all a setup, and it's the universe speaking to me. So pay attention to what's going on around you. I am paying attention to what's going on around me. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know I've already had a dream that, I was kicking crackheads out of the governor's house, that the governor's house is my house. And it's clear to me that this is government hacking, or the government is being hacked, or perhaps the government has hired the hackers. But like I said, I also have an astronomical, outstanding child support account that could be causing people in the state of Florida to behave irresponsibly online towards me. So yeah, I don't want to believe that I'm the only one that was hacked. I could have been. I don't think so. They didn't get a whole lot because they got stuff that is really not important to me right now. It's part of a timeline and that I don't participate in actively. The amount of information that they would have received from doing this, I don't think it's overwhelmingly personal. And it is exactly outdated and irrelevant information. So, right now it's just an invasion of privacy, but, I don't think anything can really hurt me in any way, shape, or form. So I'm safe. I'm protected. And the fact that I was completely informed through the physical realm, the 3D realm, and the 6th and 7th dimension. So yeah, you guys, please pay attention to what's happening in your 3D. You may be getting signs and synchronicities that you cannot ignore. And if you will sit still for a few minutes, you will get the rest of the message. So pay attention. I had to share this because this could be public. It could be a lot bigger than I realized, but it's involving Albanians, the government, and Google. So I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll have to take another nap. Get more revelation on that, but I don't have time to do that now. But good luck, best wishes, change your passwords, increase your security settings, and everything should be just fine. Love you. I love you so. Bye.